Marobster, we are in it once again, and this time we're talking about our timing and God's timing and how God actually operates outside of time, and how it makes me actually think a little bit that time is a bit of an illusion, but God literally waits until we are ready because He doesn't want to destroy us. And this verse, like I read it over and over and over again, and it's like almost every time I read it, God reveals something new, and reveals something new, and reveals something new. And it's in Second Peter 3 verse 8 and 9, where God basically speaks that there's no difference for Him between one day and 1,000 years, and that God is not slow at all. And this I definitely believe. He's not slow at His promises, but instead He's patient with us. And I had to stop there a little bit, and I was like, oh my goodness, how much is God actually patient with me at a few things, right? I would love to have millions at the moment, but I know that God is patient with me because I'm not ready for those millions as yet. When I think of sometimes how I budget, sometimes how I spend, sometimes how I overthink even spending on this. We were talking a little bit earlier on about how we need to actually be spending money on people that are good at what they do. Someone that is good at going on CapCut, making videos for us. How we should actually be spending money on that, but we want to do it ourselves. And God is like, and if I'm going to give you money and it can't flow through you, why should I be giving you more? You know, if I give you money, let it flow through you, give it to someone who can do this job for you, and let that have a ripple effect. So I literally think God is being patient with me in this because He operates outside of time. I have this thing of time that in about 2 years I want to be a multimillionaire, but God is like, and you can definitely. I'm just being patient with you to get it over your mind that you have to start. There has to be a flow within your business, and you have to start trusting me in that flow. And Rob, it brings me to this question to you, right? Where do you feel God is being patient with you? I know that you have most probably a 5-year plan and a 10-year plan, and you want to get there. But where do you feel God at the moment is being patient with you and molding you, and you also just getting yourself right to be in that position?
So I think the first thing is letting go of time.
Ooh.
I think that's the first thing, and I've worked very hard on that over the past 10 years, and I feel that I don't view time like most people now. We've been told that we will live forever. Now I know that my human form won't live forever. This will get old and stop at a point in time, but we will live forever. And so if we'll live forever, why are we so time scarce and time poor? And I don't have time for that, and I'm too busy, and so on and so forth, right? So, and so if we're to do this faith thing, we have to let go of scarcity and actually step into abundance. And I'm too busy. I don't have time. I don't have time for that non-money making activity. Blah 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 blah. That is all scarcity. Right? Time management in its traditional build an Excel spreadsheet, whatever else, it's time scarcity, right? So the first thing is letting go of time, and that served me incredibly well in the past. Interestingly, when I built my first proper business, the one I sold, right? I didn't view time then. I just went through time, right? It went zip, and time went, and it went. The business was really successful. When I tried to build other businesses up until just a couple of years ago, in reality, just literally 1 or 2 years ago, I tried to build businesses that made quite good money, and they did make quite good money, but I was always doing it by the MBA textbook and by the here's how you do time management and this and that and blah, 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 and block it off and so on and so forth. Nothing ever worked. And over the past 18 months to 2 years, I've just given time away and put it in his hands and said, well, if Thabiso needs 2 hours of my time today because he's a God's child and he needs help, then Thabiso has 2 hours. But equally, if you needed 4 or you needed 20 minutes or 2 minutes, it doesn't matter. Any one of that spectrum is
Rob, I love that.
Because I'm here to do his work. I'm not here to do my work. right? So the first thing is letting go of time as I look at this. But I also think, and that's terrifying for people, right? But I think the second most repeated commandment throughout the Old and New Testament is do not be afraid. And I said that in multiple weeks, and I'm well aware of that. But if you feel like letting go of time is scary, then actually you need to understand what that commandment of do not be afraid is, and choose whether you're a member of the book club or a member of the faith.
Ooh.
Right? Like the book club understands the words, and the faithful do the words.
Man, oh man, and I love it because the other day we discussed Joshua 1 verse 9, where God tells us to be strong and courageous. Exactly that.
That's it. So that's the thought. But there's a second thought, a really highly practical, logical thought, right? If one of your employees or somebody you knew came to you and said, I want a pay rise, right? From wherever they are now to wherever they want to be. Let's say it's double the amount of money. And many people's goals and aspirations are a lot more than double what they're currently making, if we're to be honest. You'd sit there as their boss, and you come up with a whole bunch of criteria that you would need them to meet to justify having that much increase in wages. On a practical basis, if you were to read both the Old and the New Testament and say, what's the criteria that he's looking for from me in order for me to get the pay rise that I desire?
Whoa. Get out of here. Sure.
So, for instance, if you're not tithing, you're looking for the evidence base, right? That's what you're looking for. If you're not tithing now, which isn't just money, by the way, it's giving 10% of all of your God-given talents to the kingdom, right? So money is part of it, but it's also your intellect, your strength, your waking hours, your whatever, right? 10% of everything, your family even. If you're not doing that now, how are you evidencing the fact that when he gives you the next step, that you'll do it?
Rob, that's exactly it, right? That's exactly what this verse is talking about God literally being patient with us because he does not want anyone to be destroyed. And I think it's exactly that, if we are not going to do certain things, and you said it so beautifully here, basically in those criteria, if we're not gonna can I say upgrade in what we do and in how we do things, and in literally being obedient, sometimes stepping out on faith. There's something amazing that you're doing now with KingdomPreneur. I don't want to share you're going to definitely share this testimony one day. I truly believe it, where I know that there's a lot of things that you're doing yourself at the moment, but this is literally you stepping out in faith. This is literally you telling God that, hey man, yes, I want this raise, and this is what I'm doing to basically get to this race. And I believe God will definitely honor you for that. But it's exactly that.
That's it. In KingdomPreneur, we have a 26-week program that I'm building at this point in time for Christian entrepreneurs and business owners. And when you join the affordable community, you get the program for free. And I've been interviewing, because obviously in Proverbs, we learn about the concept of partnering, much as we're doing today. Not business partnering in inverted commas, but partnering. And so I've been interviewing a bunch of partners to give their knowledge base into this program. And one of them is my accountant. And he decided when he set up his accounting business ages ago that he would give 10% of all turnover to the kingdom, to the church. So he did. This is income. It isn't profit. This is total business income. And so he did, even when he couldn't afford it and they were eating baked beans on toast for 2 meals a day because that's all they could afford.
Yeah.
He did it. One day he's in church and praying, and the Lord came to him and said, you need to give more. Now, because he's an accountant, bless him, he only actually views the world through numbers on occasion. Says like I'm already eating baked beans on toast, what more? So he decided that in monetary terms, he'd then give 20%. Now, I know that tithing talks about 10% of everything that we've got, right? Which isn't just cash, but that was his version of events. Anyway, literally weeks later, and when you join KingdomPreneur and watch Kenneth's taught session about money in your business in the program, you can go and see it, right? And you can listen to this testimonial that he gives. Literally weeks later, he's in church and the pastor stands at the front and says, I've received word that many of you are giving far more than you've ever been asked to give. You're giving far more. And I want to tell you that those who give more will be rewarded more, and abundance in your life in every area is about to flourish.
Come on.
His business increased by 5 times in the next 6 months from that day. Right? And it was in recognition of, he knows who you are. He knows what you're doing. He knows what sacrifices you're making. He knows. But this just goes back to you have to evidence that you're ready before he'll give it to you.
Rob, I love this. I love this, because I can remember a friend of mine told me this once. He's like, and I know he was saying it with wit, but it was like, 10% is for baby Christians. That's just when you start walking in your faith. You should be doing more. And we all know that God comes and challenges us in such a way. And it's quite amazing. That challenge God posed to me when I was still in tertiary to start tithing. And I did it, and I started doing it in my business, even when I didn't have. And it's exactly like you said, not of profit, but of literally what came in for the month, you tithe on that. And God has blessed me in such a way that I'm also now on that path of him saying more, and I can give more, and I can give more without even saying, God, but I know that there's other areas now where he wants me to 10%. It's no longer like finances for me is no longer a thing. But there's other areas where he's like, okay, Tabs, your 10%, your time here, your 10% with your wife here, your 10% with your kids here. So your 10% in giving back as a radio presenter to whoever is up and coming. Come on, let's get into it, And I'm so blessed by your word at the moment. And I think with all of this, saying that God operates outside of time, and saying that God basically is patient with us, is getting us there so that he knows that we are ready to be able to handle all of this. And Rob, I think
if you let go of money, though, if you let go of money for a second, let's put that to one side.
Yeah.
Okay. Because it is the elephant in the room that we all need to go and manifest and pray about, and think about how we do that. And I know it's a struggle for many people. But if we let go of money and go, okay, let's just say we want to go from 100 customers to 1,000 customers, right? And we know there'll be a monetary impact on that, but you want to do it. Why on earth would your boss give you that extra 900 customers if you can't delight your current 100? Why on earth?
Oof, man.
And this is where, in our previous conversation, I said, what we're doing here is the word is far more practical and logical than just being some stuff that we pray about and learn about and think about. Right? It is far more logical and sequential. And you just got to go and translate it in your head. Is if I went to somebody and asked for a double the pay rise, what would they want from me? And they'd say, well, I want you to prove this, and this. For me, as I look at Peter and what you shared this morning, I actually want to inspire to go and sit down. I can write this list for myself. You can write this list for yourself on a piece of paper in the next 10 minutes. Like, what is it that I need to do to go and justify the pay rise? Like everybody listening to this can go and do that activity for themselves and start ticking it off.
Just Rob, you wrapped it up for me. You definitely wrapped it up for me. And I think it's something that I'm noting down now, something that I'm excited about going to delight. And actually, God just literally spoke to me as we were speaking just about my house. He's like, and how many people do you actually invite to your home and delight in it? Because you want a bigger home, yes, but how many people are you busy inviting to your house right now?
That's it.
So, oh, love it. Oh,
Can
I
I,
love it.
can I share with you something really, really
Mm.
ironic? So when I first moved to South Africa, my wife and I, Kerry, had a 2-bed apartment, right? And but we always filled the apartment. We would have friends and family from all over the country and all over the world. We never, everybody says, what can we bring? We're like, nothing, don't worry, just turn up. Like if there's no beer, if there's no beer in the fridge and you've drunk it all, please go to the bottle store and put some more cold beer in the fridge. But apart from that, like, just come. But that enabled us then to get a 4-bedroom house in Johannesburg, and we always filled that. My in-laws hate it, by the way, and sorry if they listen, because they refer to us as like the Yates B&B, and the house is always full, and there's no peace and quiet, and it's always in and out, and people, and so on and so forth. But our house in Joburg then went to my property in the Eastern Cape, where I've got another 4-bedroom house. But now I've got 3 cottages where we can sleep another 12 people in cottages that equally have their own dining rooms and lounges. And actually, in honesty, we've had people camping on the lawn here. I mean, if you fill the church, God will give you a bigger church.
Come on.
Right? And so if your business is not running at 100% occupancy with customers right now, you don't need a bigger premises and a bigger business and more customers, because you haven't filled your church. Fill your church, he'll give you a bigger church. And then you say, well, fill your church, and then you have the speakers and the screens outside the front of the church, right, with people on the street listening and joining in praise and worship. Like, what's your business version of that? Because he will give you a bigger building, you just haven't filled the current one.
Amen, Rob. Amen.
Sorry, I got on a soapbox. I don't know where all that came from. It's like the Holy Spirit went boom and dropped it on top of my head.
I love such moments. I love such moments. Robbie Yates, thank you so much. Let's go out there and understand that God operates outside of time, and also understand that in most of these things He's patient with us, and go show God where He can trust us. Thank you so much for your time. This is good.
Thank you. And if you haven't subscribed or liked or shared, do so. If not, just write a comment. Cheers from us.